Hello dear students, my name is Ankita and I am teaching as an assistant professor in Department of Computer Science and Engineering. In these video lectures, I am going to teach system analysis and design, which is a subject of Bachelor's of Business Administration semester 6. So in today's video, we are going to learn some topics from the unit 1. For example, in system analysis and design, system characteristics, system components, environments, and classification of systems. So, what is a system? A system is a term which came from a Greek word systema, which means this is the organized relationship between any set of components or any set of subsystems to achieve some common objective or goals. Or if we go with the formal definition of the system, it is an orderly group of interdependent components which are linked together according to a plan to achieve some specific objective. And this objective can be any decision making to uplift the growth of any organization. The study of system concept must have the three constants, or why should we study this term system, or in the BBA also. Not only in BBA, in today's era, in every field the term system is used, and there are some functional units as well which we may call as a system, that they produce something and produce some output also. So for which purpose these systems are built up. Any system which we know as a system must have a structure and a behavior which is designed to achieve a predefined objectives. Second one, the interconnectivity and interdependence must exist among the system components, and the objective of the organization as a whole have a higher priority than the objective of its subsystem. For example, if I consider any online shopping company which is not a standalone unit, it is made up of different sections, like marketing will be there, sales will be there, account section will be there. So standalone account section cannot do anything if we do not have sales, okay, or marketing section cannot do anything standalone if we do not have good products. So so the objective of the organization as a whole always have the higher priority than the objectives of its subsystems. For example, we have many examples of systems as well, like traffic management system, human resource management system, management information systems. So all these systems which produces some output or perform some operations also, and which is giving you something, that they are known as systems. So characteristics of a system should comprises of organization, interaction, interdependence, integration, and the central objective. There should be an organization or the proper structure or the order for which you want to create a system. It is the arrangement of the components that helps to achieve the objectives. Interaction, it refers to the manner in which each component functions with other components of the system. How the system subcomponents are interacting with each other. This is one of the characteristics of a system. Interdependence means that the part of the organization or the computer system depend on one another. Like if we have a screen but we do not have any keyboard, then how we are going to give the input? If we do not have any printer, or if we have screen and we are ready to give command, but we do not have any printer, though how we are going to give the output without printer? So interdependence must be there between the system components, so they are coordinated and linked together according to a plan. One subsystem depends on the output of the another subsystem for proper functioning, obviously. So integration is the next characteristic of a system. It refers to the holism of the system. It is concerned with how a system is tied together unitedly or combinedly, how they are behaving, how they are executing output. So integration characteristics defines that. Central objective is the next characteristic. It says that for which purpose we are creating system, it should have some central objective, and the system must fulfill that objective. also. So a system should have a central objective, and objectives may be, real or stated. Although a stated objective may be the real objective, it is not uncommon for an organization to state one objective and operate to achieve another one. If we have one objective, we should work on that particular objective. If the organization have many objectives, then it should concentrate, or it should design a system for that particular objective also. It should not be there that if we design a system for a certain objective, we are applying that system to achieve the another objective also. So there should be one central objective also. Now next comes the elements of the system. We all know that any system must have an input which will be processed, and we will have some certain output also from that system. So elements are, system is made up of such units also. Okay, one system takes input, it processes it and gives the output. So output and input are the first and foremost elements of a system. The major objective of a system is to produce an output that has value to its user. In order to get a good output, inputs to this system must be appropriate. It is important to point out here that determining the objective is the first type. We should have a specific input, and we should expect that output for particular input which we are applying. So we cannot expect more than that from a system. Whatever we are giving it, it will produce that same thing and then gives the output only. The processor is the next unit which processes the output, which evaluates the output, which manipulates the output to give you a proper, which manipulates the input which to give you proper output. Control is another again important unit of a system. Control is the element which guides the system, and it is the decision making system, making subsystem that controls the pattern of activity governing input, processing and output. So for any system, these three are the major components of functionality. So every system must have the input which will be processed by the system, and then the system will provide you the output. So elements of the system next contains the feedback. Feedback measures the output against a standard in some form of cybernetic procedure that includes communication and control. Feedback, you can consider feedback as the, you know when we create any system, we decide some input, that these inputs I will give to the system, and these inputs should be evaluated in that manner so that I can get the expected output. So feedback measures those measures which evaluates the output against a standard form of a cybernetic procedure. This is a procedure which compares the expected output and the given input, expected output on the basis of given input. So feedback may be positive or negative also, or routine or informational also. Positive feedback reinforces the performance of the system. If we get any positive feedback from the system, it reinforces the system performance. And if it is routine in nature, usually the systems have routine in nature, so we give the input, it processes it, and it gives the output. Negative feedback generally provides the controller with the information for the action. For example, if my laptops or my desktop suddenly behaves abnormally, so there may be the reason of viruses also, there may be the reason of low battery, or any other software issues can be there. So if I'm getting the negative feedback from my system, then my system will immediately inform me by generating or by issuing any warning message. So I will at once perform some action for it. Either I will restart my computer, either I will save my work and then restart it. So these are the proactive actions which I will take when I get the negative feedback. Environment is the environment. This is the supra system, like within which an organization operates, how, where and in what environment my system is operating. It is the source of external elements that impinge on the system. In fact, it often determines how a system must function. and the boundary and the interfaces are the last elements of the system. A system should be defined by its boundaries. That these are the limits that identify its components, processes, and interrelationships when it interfaces with the another system. So these were the elements of a system. Next, we come on to the types of system. We have different type of systems. Like first is on the basis of the hardware and the software, or the concrete system or the abstract system. So first one is the physical system or the abstract system. Physical systems are, these are the tangible units which we can touch or feel. Physical systems may be static or dynamic in nature. For example, desks and the chairs are the physical parts of the computer center which are static. A programmed computer is a dynamic system in which the programs, the data, and the application change time to time. So, physical systems are the tangible entities. They have static and the dynamic uh, natures. And the static example can be considered like chairs and computer table. These are the static, they are fixed. And the dynamic, the which changes continuously, or the programs in the computer gets changed automatic as the time goes. So abstract systems are the non-physical entities or the conceptual entities that you can consider a formula, a representation, or the model of a real system. Next is the open or closed system. Open system must interact with its environment, which is open for all. It receives inputs from the users and delivers the output to the outside system. For example, an information system which must adapt to the changing environment conditions. Open, which is open for all and which operates in any environment. And closed systems are, they do not interact with any of the environment. It is isolated from the environmental influences, and completely closed system is rare in reality. So any system you will find, they are not properly closed, they are not completely closed. They, one or the other section of those systems will be open to all. Next is adaptive system or non-adaptive system. Adaptive system responds to the change in the environment, which are adaptive in nature in the way to improve their performance and to survive also. For example, human beings and animals, they are adaptive in nature. They can survive in any temperature and any circumstances or environments. Non-adaptive systems are the system which does not respond to the environment. For example, machines, like they do not have any impact of environment. Machines, they do not have any impact of the environment on them. Permanent or temporary systems, a permanent system persists for a long time. For example, business and policies, they persist for long time. Policies are there for long run. Temporary systems are made up of specified time, and after um, that particular time they demolished. For example, like DJ systems we have. Temporary systems are, for example, like currently we are in the lockdown, so government is following the system of social distancing also. Like these are the temporary procedures or the systems which we are following. So for the time being they will be there, and after, when their time is over, everything will be fine, and our regular policies will work as they used to work before this situation of corona. Next is natural and manufactured system. Natural systems are created by nature. For example, solar system and the seasonal systems. Manufactured are, like they are man-made systems. For example, rockets, trains, and dams and metros, etc. Deterministic system and probabilistic systems are another type of systems. Deterministic system operate in predictable manner, and the interaction between the system components is known with the certainty. Deterministic system, for which we know that what will be the predictable manner in which they should behave. For example, two molecules of hydrogen and one molecule of the oxygen makes water. So these are the deterministic, which are fixed, which we know in advance how these two things will interact with each other. Probabilistic systems are those which are based on uncertain behavior. The exact output is not known to anyone. For example, weather forecasting and meal delivery, these things are not in our hands. So any external or environmental issue can affect weather as well as meal delivery system. Next type of systems are social, social, human, machine, and machine system. Social systems are made up of people, for example, social clubs and societies, and human machine systems, these contains human and both are involved to make these systems work properly. For example, computer systems or computer programs. Machine systems are those systems in which human interference is neglected. For example, robots. All the tasks are performed by the machine itself. Now we have one another information system, like man-made information system. This is just a small topic, so we should also include it if we are studying the system analysis and design. It is an interconnected set of information resources to manage data for particular organization under direct management control. Man-made information systems are the interconnected set of information resources to manage data and the particular organization, which is managed by the direct management only. So this system includes hardware, software, communication, data, and application for producing information according to the need of an organization. So man-made information system is any system in which complete organization is involved, and by keeping the organization's objective in mind, the different subsystems of a whole system works. It includes hardware, software, everything which is working to achieve that objective. They are divided into three types: formal information system, informal, and computer based. Formal information systems are those information systems which are based on the flow of information in the form of memos, instructions, etc., from top level to lower level of management. So man-made information system, as I said, complete organization is involved in such systems. So there will be formal information system, informal, or computer based. Formal includes whatever instructions the management, direct upper management, give to the lower level of the management. Informal information system means the employee based system which solves the day to day work related problems. Like we are working in an organization, if I there are many friends also which are my colleagues also, so being in that friendship, I can help my colleague also. So that is known as informal information system. Computer based system are the directly dependent on the computer for managing the business applications. For example, automatic library system, railway reservation, banking system, these are the computer based system. So any organization is comprises of these three types of information systems. So we have seen the components of the systems, types of the systems, and the different elements of the systems or the components of the system, and what the system is. Okay, when we are creating any such type of system, like we have further, like for example, we have computer system. So it is a machine, you can say. It is a hardware or physical system, you can call it. So it is a system. If all the subsystems are not working properly, then how the complete output we will get, or for for whatever objective we have created the computer system, its purpose will not get fulfilled. So if we have any system, that its proper analysis and its design must be there. This subject contains not only the definitions of the system, or not only the study of existing system, but it also contains the prerequisites, that includes the functions when we want to create our own system. Like if I want to create my own library management system, I should see that on what platform I should develop it. First of all, in software terms, if I talk about, what first one is the platform I should select, that on which I'm going to develop it, and what will be the requirements of this system, particular library management system, why I want to develop such system. Obviously, as it's as and I will give it a proper name which defines its functionality also. If I'm saying library management system, then I should have the requirement to manage the library, and library contains books, students and the faculties and the outsiders also. So if we have such type of organization where we have one library, and we have number of books, enormous number of books, and the number of students, they are coming in a day, they are issuing the books and they are submitting the books back, and they are reading the books sitting in the library. So which book should be assigned to which student, and what should be the limit of issuing book? This scenario we face in our day to day life also when we go to college. So if we want to develop such system also, then what should be the points which we need to kept in mind while developing such system? So the analysis is one, and the design and then testing is, these are the different phases you can say that we should study while developing any system. So these were the few topics of unit 1. Rest of the topics we will cover in the upcoming videos. So stay home, stay safe, take care. Thank you very much.